Hello students. Today we have a new topic of grammar, a very easy one, something that most people find a little tricky because there is a lot to remember in this topic. From the perspective of memory, you will be exhausting yourself when you're doing this topic. But it is almost certain that all students will be getting their answers correct in this. Alright, the name of the topic is direct and indirect speech, or as some may call it, direct and indirect speech. Both are rightfully said. And in direct and indirect speech, or direct and indirect speech, we have to remember that this topic is not concerning transformation. It is concerning conversations. Okay? So, when I am talking directly to someone, I am talking to my friend, to my relative, anyone whom I am talking to face, that way of talking is called direct speech, where the person who is talking and the person who is listening are both in front of each other. Now, when I am telling you something that someone else told me, it is indirect speech. When the person who is directly saying it is not present at the moment. Say for example, A says something to B, it is direct speech. When A says something to B, it is direct speech. When B tells C what A had told B, it is indirect speech. Meaning, if the conversation is directly happening between A and B, this conversation is a direct conversation. Directly the person who is talking and the person who is listening both are present. When B tells C what A had told him or her, it is indirect speech. Alright? So, in this topic, what we are learning is, we are learning how to convert a direct speech, that is a dialogue, into an indirect speech, that is a sentence. Alright? A very simple topic, something that is very interesting, and most of you will be able to use this in your conversations too. Okay? Don't just look at this topic from Mark's perspective, because this is how you are talking. Okay? So when you are talking is when you are also being judged. This topic will not only give you marks, but also give you the way to talk and things that you have to be aware of. Alright, so without further ado, let's begin with this topic, direct and indirect speech. Now, look at this beautiful diagram over here. In this, what we are doing is, we are understanding how conversations work. First, we are directly seeing the direct speech only. Now, when a person talks, you, I, anyone talking, in any language, English, Hindi, Marathi, French, Sanskrit, Spanish, German, whichever language, whenever we talk, there are only three kinds of sentences that we speak. Okay, there are only three ways of talking. First, an interrogative sentence. We ask questions when we talk. Or an exclamatory sentence. If something more than normal has happened, then we exclaim something. Wow, what a beautiful thing. Hooray, we won the match. Oh my God, the man is dead. So, when we are exclaiming something, we use exclamatory sentences, something beyond normal. And the last one is a sentence ending in a full stop, that is a statement, an assertive sentence. So, whenever we talk, there are these three kinds of sentences only that we speak. An interrogative sentence having a question mark, an exclamatory sentence having an exclamation mark, and an assertive sentence having a full stop. Alright? So, what we are learning is direct to indirect speech. Okay? So, what comes within the inverted commas is the dialogue. Now, the dialogue, as I have just told you, will either be an interrogative sentence, or it will be an exclamatory sentence, or it will be an assertive sentence, that is a statement. So, when we are converting these from one to the other, what we are learning is, if the dialogue is assertive, how do I write it in indirect speech? If it is exclamatory, how will I write it? If it is interrogative, how will I write it? And in this topic, if you see, there are rules, not types. In other topics, we used to write types over here. In this, there are rules. We have to remember these four rules for all the sentences. Okay, so each and every sentence has to be thought about from the first rule perspective, then the second, then the third, and then the fourth. Alright, let's begin. Rules. Rule number one. When the dialogue given to you in the inverted comma, say for example, if the sentence is, Ram said, I am awake. This is a dialogue which comes, something that comes between the inverted commas. Okay? So this dialogue will either be a statement or a question or an exclamation. Okay, obviously being awake is not something that you would celebrate, but then just to keep the continuity going. Alright? So, when a sentence is made in a statement form, it is an assertive sentence. Now, assertive sentence, we are classifying into two types, type 1 and type 2. Let's begin with type 2 first. Type 2 are non-simple sentences. So these sentences are not simple. These are non-simple sentences. So whenever we have non-simple sentences, we will be having any of these types asked. If the sentence given to you is a command, if the dialogue is a command, you will be writing commanded. If it is a command, you will be writing commanded. Instead of the word said, we will be writing the word commanded. If it is an order, you will be writing the word ordered. You will be writing the word ordered. So if it is a command, you will write commanded. If it is an order, you will write the word ordered. If the word please is given to you, if you see the word please, if the word please is given to you, your answer will have the word requested. It will have the word requested. If the word wish is given to you in the question, you will be writing wished. If the words let's or let us, either of these two are given to you, if you recollect, we had done these words in question tag. So, if the words let's or let us are given to you, any of these, you will be writing the word suggested. If should is given to you, you will be writing the word advised. If yes is given to you, you will be writing the word agreed. If no is given to you, you will be writing the word disagreed. See, if the sentence is a command, for example, attack the enemy. So you'll write the king attacked, the king commanded the soldiers to attack the enemy. Or the king commanded the army to attack the enemy. Alright? If it is an order, say for example, the teacher said, submit your work. So the teacher ordered the children to submit their work. If it is please help me. So he requested me to help him or something like that. Wish, I wish I could come. So he wished that he could come. Let us study together. So he suggested that we study together. If the word should is given to you, you should rest now. So he advised him to rest then. Okay. If the word yes is given to you, yes, I will come with you. So he agreed to go with him. If the word no is given, you will write disagree. Now see the word sorry. Whenever we say the word sorry, there are two situations in which we say sorry. First is when we've made some mistake and we want to apologize for it. Like say for example, I happen to bump into you. So I'll say, I'm sorry. I am apologizing for a mistake that I have committed. So when there is a mistake committed, you will be writing the word apologized. Whenever there is a mistake done by you, you will be writing the word apologized. If it is a feeling of sorry, if something bad has happened with you, I'll say, I feel sorry for you. Like say for example, God forbid you happen to fail in your exams. So I'll say, I'm sorry to hear that. Obviously you've not failed because of me. I've taught everything correctly. But I feel sorry because you are in a pitiful state. So I say, sorry as a regret. So instead of apologized, I will be writing regretted. Okay? So you'll be having these many words to be remembered in assertive. Commanded, ordered, requested, wished, suggested, advised, agreed, disagreed, apologized, regretted. And if it is none of these kinds of sentences, if it is a simple sentence like this, I am awake. See, I am awake is not a command, it is not an order, not a request, wish, none of these. in that case, when it is a simple sentence, in Hindi we call it sadharan sentence. So whenever it is a sadharan sentence, you'll be using the word said that. Okay? Instead of commanded, ordered, requested, suggested, advised, wished, and so on, instead of these words, if it is a simple sentence, if it is a sadharan sentence, you will be writing the words said that. Alright? I hope all of you have understood assertive. Okay? If it is a sentence like this, say for example, Ram said, you should write the paper, Shyam. So, the word should tells you that you will not write said that. You will be writing advised. So, you will write Ram advised Shyam that he should write the paper, or you can write Ram advised Shyam to write the paper. Okay, so this is how we are going to use these words. I hope this part is clear to all of you. Moving on, the first type that we did was assertive sentences, the first kind of sentence. Now we are moving to exclamatory. Now see, exclamatory and interrogative are very simple. In assertive, there are so many words that we have to remember. Why do we have to remember so many words? Because in assertive, there is an imperative sentence which has a command, order, request. There is an optative sentence which expresses wish. There is a suggestive sentence which has lets or let us. There is an advisory sentence which has should, and so on. Now exclamatory, we have to remember one and only one word, that is exclaimed. The word that we have to remember is exclaimed. I don't know why I've made this kind of design. Exclaimed. Now, exclaimed can be written in two ways. Exclaimed can be written as exclaimed with dash or exclaimed saying that. Exclaimed with dash or exclaimed saying that. Exclaimed with dash or exclaimed saying that. Exclaimed with dash will be used only in two situations. Only when there is an address of joy or sorrow. When you are indicating joy or indicating sorrow, you will be writing exclaimed with dash. Okay? So, in exclaimed with joy or exclaimed with sorrow, you will be writing exclaimed with dash. I mean, whenever there is joy or sorrow. If there is no joy or sorrow, if it is a normal exclamatory sentence, say for example, the sentence is, what a beautiful day it is. So, this does not express any kind of happiness. It is not joy. It is just a normal exclamation. Okay. Joy would be hooray. We have won the match. Bravo. What an inning. Wow. We have done it. So, something that expresses joy, in particular joy, then you will write exclaim with joy. Or if it is alas, he is dead. Oh, I thought he was alive. Okay. If it is a sorrowful sentence, then you will write exclaimed with sorrow. Otherwise, you will write exclaimed saying that. If it is a normal exclamatory sentence, you will be writing the word exclaimed saying that. I hope this is clear to all of you. Moving ahead to interrogative sentences. Now the third kind of sentence, as you just saw, exclamatory, assertive, now we are doing interrogative. Now when we make an interrogative sentence, we will always use the word asked. We'll always use the word asked. We'll always use the word asked. Now asked can be written in two ways. It can be asked only, separately asked he likha hai only asked, or you can write asked whether or asked if, depending on the sentence what is suitable in which sentence. So you try with asked only. If not suitable, then you can write asked whether or asked if. It has to be any of these three. Now, many a times, students ask me that, is it okay if we write inquired? Is it okay if we write enquired? Is it okay if we write questioned? Now see, inquired, questioned, or any of these words, they are suitable for some sentences, not suitable for some others. Asked, on the other hand, is suitable for all the sentences. So to make it simpler, what we'll do is, we'll remember whenever the question is an interrogative sentence, we'll use the word asked. Alright? So, coming back to interrogative, we'll use asked or asked whether, asked if, whatever is suited. Alright, look over here. Ram said, are you awake? So Ram asked whether or Ram asked if he was awake or I was awake. Okay, so we are done with the first rule regarding assertive, exclamatory and interrogative. We'll quickly go through this once again. Now see, this topic goes a little slow because it has a little more detail in it, but it's short because there is nothing coming outside of this. Whatever we are doing, that is all that you have to remember. Alright? So, the first rule, whenever we talk, there are three kinds of sentences that we use: assertive, interrogative and exclamatory. In interrogative, you'll always use the word asked or asked whether or asked if. In exclamatory, you'll always use the word exclaim. Now, exclaim can be used in two ways: exclaim with dash or exclaim saying that. And exclaim with dash will always be exclaim with joy or exclaim with sorrow. In assertive, because there are so many types of sentences, so many types of assertive sentences, there are so many words that we have to remember. Okay, if it is a command, you'll write commanded. If it is an order, you'll write ordered. If it is a request, you'll write please. Sorry, if it is please, you'll write requested. If it is wish, you'll write wish. Let's or let us, you'll write suggested. Should, you'll write advice. Yes, you'll write agreed. No, you'll write disagreed. Sorry, you'll write either apologize if it is a mistake or regretted if it is a feeling of sorry. If it is none of these kind of sentences, if it is a simple sentence, if it is a sadharan sentence, you'll use the words said that. I hope this first rule is clear to all of you. The first one is the bulkiest. Apart from this, all others are very simple. See, just like we have these words, exclaimed, exclaimed, asked, requested, agreed, disagreed, apologized, wished, said, there is one more word called told. Now, the word told has a certain rule to be followed. You cannot just write told whenever you want to. No. When can you write the word told? You can write the word told in these two situations, and both these situations have to be fulfilled. These both must be fulfilled. Okay? When will I use the word told? I'll use the word told when it is assertive type 1 kind of a sentence. Assertive type 1 kind of a sentence means when it is a sadharan sentence. It means when it is not interrogative, it should not be interrogative, it should not be exclamatory, and it should not be assertive type 2. It means if the sentence is sadharan, a simple sentence, and the first and second person both are mentioned. Now see, many a times students don't really know what is first person, what is second person. I discovered first person, second person when I came in college. Okay, teachers feel that students must be knowing first person, second person, to pata hona hi chahiye. Still, we'll do it once for people who don't know, like me. First person is the one who speaks. The one who is saying it is the first person. The one to whom he is saying it, the one who is listening, is the second person. See, the first person is speaking. These are not chewing gum bubbles. These are dialogues. And if you see, out of all three, this one only has ears. Because he is the second person, the one who listens. Okay? The one who says is the first person. The one who listens is the second person. So, regarding told, when will I use the word told? When the question is assertive type 1, that is a simple sentence, and the question has the name of the speaker and the name of the listener also mentioned. Either the name or the pronoun, like Ram said to Shyam or he said to her. Anything is fine. The one who is saying it and the one to whom he is saying it, both are mentioned, then it is type 2, rule number 2, that is use of the word told. Alright? Now, when you are using the word told, remember assertive type 1 and first and second person both are given. Then it becomes a regular sentence, a regular transformation. For example, grandfather said to Rakesh. So, over here, if you see grandfather, that is the first person, and Rakesh, that is the second person. Both are mentioned, and cherry seeds are lucky. Cherry seeds are lucky. So, is it an interrogative sentence? No. Is it an exclamatory sentence? No. Is it a command? No. Order? No. None of these. So it is a simple sentence with first and second person given. So we are writing the word told. So grandfather said to Rakesh, cherry seeds are lucky becomes grandfather told Rakesh that cherry seeds are lucky. Alright? I hope the second rule is very clear to all of you. See, it's very simple. The first thing that you have to see is whether there are two people mentioned. Okay, there can be sentences where you may have one person's name outside, grandfather said, comma, inverted commas, and Rakesh is inside the dialogue. Then it is okay. It is not necessary that both people have to be outside or both people have to be inside. They should be mentioned. The names should be mentioned. So grandfather is mentioned, Rakesh is mentioned, so we are writing the word told. Alright. Rule number 3 is regarding tenses. Now when we are talking, when a dialogue is being said, at the very next minute, at the very next moment, after 1 millisecond, whatever I am saying right now becomes past tense. When I am saying something right now, it is present tense. After 1 millisecond, it becomes past tense. Similarly, in direct and indirect speech, these tenses will change. If the question is in the present tense, the answer will change to past tense. Present changes to past. Past remains past. What was there will remain in the was only. What was done in the past will remain in the past only. So past remains past. Past tense remains past tense. Future tense remains future tense. What will happen will happen. Okay. So present changes to past. Past tense remains past tense. Future tense remains future tense. Now in future tense, what you have to remember is, if the word will is given to you in the question, your answer will have the word would. Will changes to would. Will changes to would. And shall changes to should. Shall changes to should. So will becomes would and shall becomes should. Tenses, this is all that you have to remember. One small detail. Present remains present tense if it is a fact or a universal truth. If the question is a fact or a universal truth, it remains in the present tense only. Like for example, if it is Ram said, God is great. So the answer will remain the same. Ram said that God is great. It will remain in the present tense only. So whenever you have facts or whenever you have universal truths, you will be following the same tense, that is present will remain in the present tense. Okay? I hope you have understood this part.